Hello everyone. Today I would like to teach you wheat rust diseases. As you know, wheat rust diseases are very severe disease of wheat crop, barley as well as other cereal crops. And wheat rust diseases are found in all wheat growing areas of the world. So therefore there is a need to discuss these wheat rust diseases. So today in this lecture I will cover type of rust diseases and disease and life cycle of the rust fungus, disease management and historical significance. So in this lecture I would like to cover all these topics. So let's begin. As you can see in this photo, and these are wheat. This is a wheat crop, and as you know, the wheat crop is severely infected by the rust fungus. The yellowish spores on the leaves, the orange brownish spores on the leaves indicate that this wheat crop is infected by the rust fungus. So as you can see here, the leaf and this yellowish, orange, brownish color spores, these are the indication of the rust fungus. And some of the spores you can also see on this farmer hands. So this wheat crop is severely infected by the rust fungus. Why rust diseases are important? Because wheat rust disease is found in all wheat growing countries, so it is a global concern. So wheat is the major staple food crop. So if wheat is infected by rust diseases, then food availability will be reduced. So as a result, inflation will be high, poverty will be high. So wheat rust diseases are nowadays our global concern, and we need to take effective measures to control wheat rust diseases. Why it is global concern? Another races, because rust fungus evolve rapidly into new races, and there is no resistant variety against these new races. So the situation become worse day by day, and those new races are more virulent and damaging to wheat crops. So wheat rust diseases nowadays are a global concern. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization estimates that 31 countries, accounting for more than 37% of global wheat production area and 30% of production, are at risk of wheat rust diseases, including the UG99 race of stem rust and YR27 strain of yellow rust. So as you can see, the 30% production is now a risk of wheat rust disease worldwide. So rust is a global concern. So we need to tackle rust diseases as soon as possible. Now our next topic is about the types of rust diseases. There are three major types of rust diseases. Number one is leaf rust. Why it is called leaf rust? Because it is infecting the leaves of cereal crops. It is infecting the leaves of wheat crop. As you can see, this leaf is severely infected by the rust, by the leaf rust. Second type is stripe rust. Why it is called stripe rust? Because you can see the stripes, like the rust is in the form of stripes, in the form of lines. So that's why it is called stripe rust. So this is second major type of rust disease. And third major type, and which is the most important rust disease, is stem rust. Because as the name indicates, stem rust, this rust fungus infecting the stem of wheat crop. So if you see here, the stem of this wheat crop is severely infected by stem rust disease. So 3 major types of rust diseases: leaf rust, stripe rust, and stem rust. Now next type, first we will discuss leaf rust in detail. Leaf rust, why we also call it brown rust, because the spores that form on the leaves are the brownish colors. That's why we call it leaf rust. As you can see, this leaf of wheat crop is covered by the brownish spores of rust fungus, so we call it leaf rust, and this leaf rust mostly infect the leaves of wheat crop. Leaf rust is caused by fungus Puccinia recondita, Firmus specialis TTC. It attacks foliage of wheat, barley, as well as other cereals. It is spread by wind and splashing water. So how can we identify leaf rust? We can identify based on symptoms. Symptoms are dusty, reddish orange to reddish brown fruiting bodies that appear on the leaf surface. As you can see here, dusty reddish brown or reddish orange color spores you can see here. These are the symptoms of leaf rust. So these lesions produce numerous spores which can cover nearly the entire upper leaf surface. This upper leaf surface is covered by the leaf rust fungus. So optimum condition for infection are 59 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit and at least 6 hours of moisture on the leaf surface is required for the infection. Now the second major type of rust disease is stripe rust. Stripe rust is also known as yellowish rust or yellow rust. Why? Because as you can see, the disease is in the form of lines, in the form of stripes, and the color of the spores are yellowish in color. So that's why we call it yellow rust or stripe rust. So what is stripe rust? Is caused by Puccinia stripiformis, Firmus specialis TTC. The disease primarily occurs on leaves, although blooms and awns may also be affected. In lower humidity, stripe rust spores disperse more freely into the air and can travel for much greater distances. This may result in a uniform pattern of disease development beginning in mid-spring. Stripe rust typically produces yellow or orange blister-like pustule. So because this rust produces yellow or orange blister-like pustules, that's why we also call stripe rust as yellow rust, and that are arranged in stripes as you can see in the figure. The optimum conditions for infections are 45 to 54 degrees Fahrenheit with 6 to 8 hours of leaf moisture. So that was all about this stripe rust. Now, as you can see in this map, how yellow rust spread to all the wheat growing countries of the world. As you can see here in Uzbekistan, this is Central Asia, and all the Central Asia including Tajikistan, Uzbekistan are infected by the yellow rust. Similarly, in Azerbaijan, Iran, Iraq and Syria, Iraq, these countries are also severely infected by the yellow rust, and in Ethiopia, Djibouti, as well as Morocco, Algeria. So this map shows the spread of yellow rust, and it is almost found everywhere from Africa to Asia, and later you will see that it has reached to Europe and America. So this map just shows that how the yellow rust spread from Central and West Asia and North and East Africa. So now the final and the most important type of rust disease is stem rust. Stem rust is also known as black rust because these spores finally become blackish or darkish in color. That's why we call it stem black rust or stem rust. So this disease is very important. So this disease is very important because and this is severe disease as compared to other disease, other yellow and stripe rust. This disease has very high significance. Stem rust is caused by Puccinia graminis, Farmer specialist TTC, and stem rust infect wheat, barley, common barberry, and some additional barberries, Maho barberries, Mahonia. Barberry is alternate host. When wheat reach to maturity or at harvesting stage or wheat is harvested, then this fungus infect barberry. This stem rust infect barberry, so barberry is alternate host. Later we will discuss about the alternate host as well as disease cycle. So stem rust occurs when raised spores, pustules form on stems and leaf sheaths, although occasionally they may form on awns, glumes and seeds. So as you can see, the wheat crop of this field is severely infected by the stem rust. As you can see, the rust on the stems, these are the indication of the stem rust. And you can also see the stem rust infection on the stem of wheat crop. So these are severe, this wheat is severely infected by the stem rust. So the spores form on both lower and upper leaf surfaces and look orange to dark color. The spores are in dark red color, that's why the disease is also called black rust. So optimum condition for infection. Stem rust development requires the warmest temperatures of the 3 wheat rust, ideally 59 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit and 6 to 8 hours of moisture on the leaf surface. The disease spreads rapidly and can travel long distances by wind or other means of transportation such as farm equipment or plant materials. As this disease, stem rust is very important as compared to the yellow rust and leaf rust. So according to United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, stem rust can result in 70% or more loss in wheat yield. As we have covered the diseases, all the major diseases, now we shift to another topic, and that is also very important topic. So our next topic is disease and life cycle. So disease cycle is a different terminology and life cycle is a different. Life cycle is just related to rust fungus, while disease is related to fungus as well as wheat crop. So you need to make this concept clear. Disease and life cycle are two different things. So first, life cycle. The rust, based on life cycle, scientists have divided rust fungus into 3 major cycles. One is macrocyclic. Macrocyclic has all spore states. What is meaning by spore states, I will tell you in a bit later. So the other life cycle is demicyclic. Demicyclic lacks the uridinal state. I will tell you later what is uridinal state. And the third type is microcyclic cycle, and it possesses only uridinia and tilia. So based on the life cycle, the rust fungus has been divided into 3 major cycles: macrocyclic, demicyclic and microcyclic. So what are spore states, what is uridia, and what are uridina and tilia? Now let's begin with macrocyclic. As you can see, now I am connecting life cycle with the with the disease. As you can see here, sorry please, I need to open my highlighter, please wait. Okay, as you can see here, this is a wheat and these are fungal spore. So now the life cycle, now not only the fungus life cycle is related to wheat crop, so now we can say this is kind of disease cycle, and this is a disease cycle of stem rust disease. So as you can see here, so this spore is known as teleospores, and this spore is known as basidiospores, and this one is pycnospores, also called spermatia, and this is called achiospores, and this is called uridinospores. So teleospore is formed from the telium. Telium specialized reproductive structure on which teleospores are formed. When these teleospores germinate by meiosis or they undergo meiosis, they form basidiospores. And when the basidiospores infect the barberry is alternate host of rust fungus. If wheat is not available or wheat is harvested, then what happens? Then the rust fungus infect barberry. So barberry is known as alternate host. So when basidiospores germinate in barberry, it produces pycnospores, and then after pycnospores, then a special structure forms achium, on which achiospores are formed. Then that achiospores infect wheat crop, and in wheat crop, then uridinium is formed, and from the uridinospores are formed, and these uridinospores are continuously infecting wheat crop. So this is kind of repeating cycle. So uridinospores are actually the rust spores, as you can see on the stem, on the leaves, in the form of stripes. So this uridinospore. So how many spores are here? There are 5 major spores: teleospore 1, basidiospore 2, pycnospore 3, achiospores 4, and uridinospore 5. So macrocyclic life cycle has all spore states, mean those rust fungus which produce all these 5 major spores, then that kind of life cycle of the rust fungus is called macrocyclic life cycle. While the demicyclic lacks the uridinal state. Uridinal state mean in the demicyclic fungus you can't find the uridinum and uridinospores. It means that demicyclic fungus have only one host, probably have only one host, because uridinium and uridinospores are formed on the wheat crop. And microcyclic cycle possess only uridinia and tilia. And look how the diversity in the rust fungus, you can say it is a kind of diversity. And microcyclic rust fungus are those which possess only uridinium and the tilia. Now you have understood that on the base of life cycle we have divided rust fungus into 3 major cycles: macrocyclic, demicyclic, and microcyclic. Now we will discuss macrocyclic spores. Our next topic is macrocyclic spores. So rust spores mean we are discussing macrocyclic. Macrocyclic mean 5 major spores. So number 1 is 0. This is a Roman integer, and number 1 spore is pycnospores. Pycnospores, also known as spermatia, they are from Pycnidia. Pycnidia is a reproductive structure, and on which pycnospores are formed. They are also called spermatia. And these sorrow mainly as haploid gametes in heterothallic rust. And the second spore is achiospores from Asia. They sorrow mainly as non-repeating dikaryotic asexual spores and go on to infect the primary host. Primary host in our case is wheat crop. Alternate host in our case is barberry. So these achiospores, they are going from barberry to infect wheat crop. So you have understood ascospore are formed in the barberry, but they disperse from barberry to wheat crop and infecting wheat. Primary host is wheat crop. Viridianospores. When these ascospores infect wheat crop, in the wheat crop they convert or they germinate into viridianospores, and they are formed in a specialized reproductive structure, Uridia, but they are infecting the whole season unless wheat is harvested. So this is a repeating cycle. So what we have written here, these serve as repeating dikaryotic vegetative spores infecting wheat crop. They are often profuse, red orange, and a prominent sign of rust is, as I have already told you, the spores that you see on the leaves, on the stem, in the form of stripes, they are all urideinospore. Urideinospores are actually representation of rust fungus. You can see as septums on wheat crop, what I mean to say. And then when the wheat crop is harvested or harsh environmental conditions are formed, then what happened, finally teliospores are formed from the tilia. And this because when wheat is not available or harsh environmental condition, so these are dikaryotic spores and they overwinter, they survive. They usually don't infect plant directly. What they do, when the conditions become favorable or when they find barberry alternate host, they germinate to produce basidia and basidiospores. And then these basidiospores from teliospore, then this windborne applied spores often infect barberry in spring. So we have covered 5 major spores of macrocyclic rust fungus. So these are Roman numerals, and you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It means that 5 major spores of the macrocyclic rust fungi. So if we go back, so you will understand. Look here, and these pictures clearly shows that urideinospore is infecting the wheat crop, and this is repeating, infecting, repeating, infecting, repeating. And when the conditions become unfavorable or when the wheat is harvested, then what happens, then they form tilia, and then tilia undergo karyogamy and they form teliospores, and these are overwintering structure, and then when they find barberry, they undergo meiosis and they produce basidiospore, and these basidiospores infect barberry. So in this way the macrocyclic life cycle of the rust fungus completes. About these cycles, these fungus are not very important in a sense of causing yield losses of wheat crop, so we don't need to discuss this type of life cycles of the rust and fungus, and just this is enough. This little information is enough. So now we go to our topic. So now our next topic is disease management. How can we manage rust diseases? This is a barberry. As you have seen in my previous topics, that barberry is the alternate host of rust fungi. So if we eradicate or remove this barberry, so we can minimize the rust infection. So the first in the disease management, the first suggestion is the eradication of barberry. So the first one is we can reduce the infection of rust fungus by barberry eradication. The second suggestion are the cultural practices. There should not be high moisture on the leaves, and you don't need to apply heavy nitrogenous fertilizers, because nitrogenous fertilizers make the plant leaves soft and rust fungus can easily infect. Moreover, you need to place proper spacing, row to row spacing, plant to plant spacing, and you also need to check the fertilizer schedules, and sometimes no till or minimum tillage are helpful. And you need to grow earlier maturing wheat varieties. So if you change the sowing date or planting date, then you can reduce the infection of rust disease. Genetic resistant, and this gene SR31 that was found in the oat crop and from the rye crop, and this gene, and then through interspecific hybridization, this gene has been transferred to wheat crop. But unfortunately, Uganda in 99, this race of the rust fungus evolved in Uganda, and this race has broken down this resistant gene. So it is very difficult to find a resistant genotype of resistant cultivar against the rust disease, and scientists are trying to find new resistant genotype against rust disease. But this is a severe race of rust fungus, and this has reached to South Africa, from South Africa to Yemen, and from which it reached to Iran, and then it spread the whole world, and it has destroyed the wheat crop and reduced yield losses of wheat crop. And still new races are coming. We will discuss about the races later. So genetic resistance, if you find a very good genetic resistance against rust diseases, it would be very beneficial, but it is very difficult. So the fourth management strategy is chemical control. And sometimes we apply fungicide, but fungicides are not good for environment and also not good for human as well as other organism health. But some fungicides are used to control disease, and those fungicides are sterols, like steroid biosynthesis inhibitors or demethylation inhibitors are particularly effective. They usually inhibit the sterol of the rust fungus. Advanced research is going on. Urideospores infect wheat only through stomata. Scientists have studied how germinating urideospore look at stomata and leaf surface. If they find how urideospores germinate on wheat crop, then they may find some new strategy to manage the disease. So this was our management. So this was all about the disease management. So I have told you, so there are this, by using these strategies we can control rust diseases. So now our next topic is historical significance. So what is historical significance? As you know, wheat is the largest food crop in the world, and barley is the sixth largest, and both wheat and barley are severely infected by rust disease, and together they account for more than 25% of the world food supply. It is estimated that more than $5 billion are lost to rust disease each year. Cereal rust is not new. I will tell you, cereal rust disease is very old, and it is very old since the first cereal crops were grown in the Fertile Crescent. And like spores of Puccinia graminis have been found in archaeological sites in Palestine dated from 1300 BC. So you imagine, since the wheat crop is growing, the rust has been there. Rust has been infecting the wheat crop since the wheat is growing in the world. So wheat and rust co-evolve together. So what I mean, wheat, barley and barberry. Barberry, I have told you, it is alternate host of rust fungus. All originated in the Fertile Crescent. So this complex relationship in the stem rust life cycle has an ancient history, very ancient history. So, like wheat stem rust was a serious problem in ancient Greek and Rome. So it was very serious problem. What they do, rust was observed and recognized as early as the time of Aristotle, and at this time, so rust disease is very old. The ancient Romans sacrificed red animals such as dogs, foxes and cows to the rust god. They have created a god, and that god was Rovigo or Rovigus. So what they do is spring during the festival called the Robigalia in hopes that the wheat crop would be spared from the ravages of the rust. So it means that rust diseases have a very long history. So now rust races. The another problem is rust races. So what are rust races? You know, Puccinia graminis is a species name. Graminis species, Puccinia genus. So within this species there is considerable genetic variation. What variation? For example, in 1884, Erickson discovered host-specific subspecies. I mean, within these species, Erickson discovered subspecies, what we call special forms of the fungus. So, within these species, there are special forms, and each special form is designated in Latin as Forma specialis or F.S species. F.sp mean Forma specialis. So what I mean to say, within the species there are special forms. We also call them subspecies, special forms, both, no problem. We can call them subspecies, special form. So now it is clear that this species has subspecies or special forms, and all the special form or Forma specialis have an identical appearance. Look, this is very important. When you will see the symptoms, they are identical, and all the infection identical, but vary in host range. Their host range is different. For example, the pathogen that causes stem rust of wheat is Puccinia graminis. Subspecies are Forma specialis, both same, TTC. And other Forma specialis include Puccinia graminis, Forma specialis scalis, it is infecting rye, and Puccinia graminis, Forma specialis aveni, it is infecting oat. So the species Puccinia graminis is same in wheat, in rye and in oat, but the subspecies or what we call it Forma specialis is different. Here is Forma specialis aveni, here is Forma specialis scalis, and here is Forma specialis TTC. So what I mean to say, within the rust fungus there are many subspecies or special form. So now you have understood what is the species, what are the special forms, or what we can say subspecies. So wheat, rye, oat, they are infected by the same rust species but different Forma specialis. What I want to say. Now both Puccinia graminis, Forma specialis TTC, and both Puccinia graminis, Forma specialis cause stem rust in barley. So you need to note this. So it means that barley is infected by both these Forma specialis. So then within the Forma specialis, here I have told you within the species Forma specialis. Now within the Forma specialis, what? About 1916, E.C. Stockman and others determined that within Puccinia graminis, Pharma specialist etc. This is rust fungus. This stem rust is further genetic subdivision called races. It means that yellow rust, black rust, stripe rust, and Pharma specialists are further divided into genetic subdivision and we call them races. Later races were found within other Pharma specialists as well. So species is divided into Pharma specialists and Pharma specialists is further divided into races. So, like UG99 is one such race of stem rust. I should write here race or strain are same. Race of stem rust which emerged in Uganda in 1999, then it reached to East Africa, West Africa, and finally reached to South Asia, Pakistan and India. And this race has severely infected the wheat crop worldwide in 1999. Then because of this severe race of wheat rust fungus, then what happened? Then there is an initiative created at that time, and that initiative was Bollagh Global Rust Initiative, BGRI. When you click this website, you can find literature and many other publications, other trainings about rust fungus disease, and this is homepage of that website, BGRI, Bollagh Global Rust Initiative. Then in the yellow rust, and this virulent race has evolved, and it has infected wheat crops in North Africa, Near East and Central and South Asia in 2009, 2010 and 2013. These races indicate that there is no room for complacency and continuous fight is necessary against rust fungus. In 2013, there is a regional epidemic of wheat rust. Germany was followed by a series of sporadic infections in countries including Denmark, Sweden and UK. As you can see how the rust is infecting the wheat crop. A wheat stem rust outbreak in Sicily in 2016 affected thousands of hectares of both this bread wheat and the rum wheat, and they have severely infected this wheat stem rust disease. In 2017, a new outbreak of stem rust in wheat and barley in Sweden. So Europe is also not safe because of new races of rust fungus. Before these races were in Africa, in Asia, but now Europe and America both are severely infected by the novel races of the rust fungus. More than 80% of the 57 varieties tested were highly susceptible to infection by an isolate of race TKTTF, which was prevalent in 2013 outbreak in Germany and was detected in UK and Denmark in same year. It indicates that till now all the world wheat growing countries, wherever there is wheat in the world, it is infected by the rust races, rust fungus. So like we have a data here from 2009 to 2015. So you can see how the yellow rust races, these are the races of yellow rust, and in America there are only 2 races, but in Asia and Africa there are many races of wheat rust, and they are continuously threatening the wheat crop. But Australia is free from the rust, and that is a good indication that this rust doesn't reach to Australia. Maybe Australia have a very good quarantine department, and Australian wheat crop is safe, but the whole world is now full of rust races, and wheat is continuously under threat from the rust fungus. So from where I have got this information of rust diseases, so I need to give the references of those websites from where I have got the information about rust diseases. So the first reference, I would like to give you this article, and this is published in Nature in Communication Biology, tackling the re-emergence of wheat stem rust in Western Europe. So it means that the rust has reached to the Europe. The other reference I would like to give is a Frontier Journal. This is a very good review written by this author. And yellow rust epidemics worldwide were caused by pathogenesis from divergent genetic lineages. I have got information from this paper as well. And I would also be very thankful of the Bayer Science, and their web page has a lot of information about wheat rust disease, and most of the sentences I have, most of the information I have also got from this web page of the Bayer Crop Science. And finally, I would also like to thank American Phytopathological Society web page, and they have described stem rust of wheat in a detail. If you go to this web page, you will find from disease, pathogen, host, biology, symptoms, as well as management, historical significance of the stem rust disease of wheat. So thank you all of these web pages from where I have got information to complete this lecture. So finally, I would also like to thank you all who are hearing these lectures. If you have any question, you can write to me. I will give my contact in the final slide, as well as if you have another question, you can write to me in the comment section. So I would like to say thank you all of you who are listening or hearing or watching my lecture. Thank you very much.